What's up everyone, welcome to another episode of The Market This Week. I'm your host Hasib Khan and this is the weekly review for the week ending in January 7th, 2022. And we're also going to be taking a look at a few stocks to keep an eye on for the coming week. A quick disclaimer before we get started with the video. Today's video is for educational purposes only and is not meant to be financial advice. Please do your own research, use proper risk management, and if you have access to one, consult a financial advisor before taking any action. With that aside, let's jump right into it. Starting with the S&P 500, we started the week facing resistance around the 47.96 area before a big sell-off on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday did close below 47.20, which was later on Thursday retested as resistance before the final sell-off on Friday. I do think this area around 46.36 may serve as a confluence of support because of this level and this trend line. So we may see a bounce from here. If we do see a bounce from here, how the price may play out is we will face resistance over here on the 47.20 area, and we may see this tightening price action like this before either breaking over to the upside or the downside. However, if we do see a break below over here and this fails to serve as support, we may see a run at 45.51 and a possible undercut of these lows over here, which will mean the end of this uptrend, which will be a 5% correction. And if we do undercut these lows, we may see a bigger sell-off to a 9, 10, or maybe even 11% correction. Moving on to the Nasdaq, we can see a similar move over here where Monday we did start off with a nice promise. Tuesday, we saw this bearish engulfing candle before a final sell-off on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday did close below this trend line, which later on Thursday was tested as resistance before a final sell-off to end the week on Friday. Now, this area will serve as resistance early next week, and we may see this trend line act as a level of support. However, if we do see a break below, like I mentioned last week, we may see a larger correction of 10 or 13%. So just be prepared for any scenario that may happen. Now, moving on to the few stocks to keep an eye on for the coming week. First up, Silicon Motion Technology, ticker symbol SIMO. Quickly looking at the quarterly earnings, it has been doing very well and also pays out a dividend. Just last quarter, it did increase its dividend as well. Taking a look at the long-term chart, it did create a base of roughly 4 years over here before making a move higher. Currently, it is showing a relative strength in the tech sector of 4.18, and on Friday it was trading with higher than average volume. Taking a look at the weekly chart, I do think this is a bit extended and I do expect it to consolidate along this level over here using 90.69 as a level of support before continuing higher. Next up, State Street Corporation, STT, in the finance sector. Again, taking a look at the earnings along the bottom over here, you can see it's doing pretty well quarter over quarter. It also pays out a generous dividend, and just 2 quarters ago, it did increase its dividend. Taking a look at the all-time chart, the general direction is up. You can see over here that it created a roughly 3-year base and now is reaching the resistance. Taking a look at the weekly chart, I do think it's a bit extended at the moment and may pull back to roughly 97.40. Use this as support before making another attempt at breaking out from all-time highs. Currently, it is showing a relative strength of 2.27 in the finance sector, and taking a look at the daily, this is what it would look like if it pulled back to the 97.40 area. Use this as support before making another move higher. Next up, Northern Trust Corporation, ticker symbol NTRS, in the finance sector. Similar to the other ones, if we just scroll out and look along the bottom over here, you can see that it has been doing financially pretty well quarter over quarter. And similarly, it does also pay out a generous dividend every quarter. Taking a look at the all-time chart, you can see that the general direction is up. It did consolidate around here for 3 or 4 years before breaking out and creating another base. This can be known as a base on base pattern, and it just recently broke out of that base on base pattern. Taking a look at the weekly, I do think it's extended at the moment and may pull back to the 125.92 area, consolidate here for a while before making another attempt higher. This is showing a relative strength of 2.25 in the finance sector, and this is what it would look like on the daily. if it were to pull back to the 125.92 area, consolidate here for a bit, and then make another move higher. That's all for this week. Let me know in the comments down below what stocks you're keeping an eye on for the coming week, and I'll see you next time.